Hey guys, Curtis Alexander. I'm a pharmacist. In this video, let's go over the benefits of biotin. Now, biotin is vitamin B7. To me, it tends to be overlooked. We have a lot of the B vitamins, so many of them are overlooked, but biotin is one of them, except when it comes to particularly hair, skin conditions. I will talk about that at the end of the video. I'm going to give you my take on should you supplement, does it make sense? I'm also going to talk about one food that you want to avoid. This will put you at a higher risk of a biotin deficiency. So let's hop right into it. Like I said, biotin is vitamin B7. Okay, now it doesn't get a lot of press, but it is very important. So let's start with the most well-known benefit of biotin, which is hair, skin, and nails. Now, we do have studies, and I'll include a link to this in the description, but we do have studies showing that supplementing with biotin, we did see a 13% increase in nail growth. Now, the problem with it is they had to give a sky-high amount of biotin, 2,500 micrograms. That's a huge dose. I would never recommend somebody supplement with that much. The good news, like I said, biotin deficiency is quite rare, but if it pops up, we do see it in the hair, skin, and nails area, particularly rashes around the nose, eyes, mouth, those sorts of openings in our body. We can see rashes. They can be scaly, red rashes. They can be oily rashes. But if it pops up, you'll definitely see it in the skin. You can also see hair loss and hair thinning. So biotin clearly is going to benefit your hair, skin, and nails. I do not think supplementing in that case is necessary, but in severe cases it might be. It is also beneficial for energy production, okay, in two different areas. One of that is with amino acids, can break those down. Another one is biotin can help you synthesize fatty acids, in particular with fatty acid oxidation, and that is the process that your body will use to break fatty acids down and produce energy from them. That's not the ideal thing to do. I have many other videos on the ideal way to go. However, when you need that process, particularly in an issue like you don't have access to food, biotin is very beneficial to help you break down those fatty acids to produce energy. Another area that we see benefit with biotin is in diabetes. We can see a decrease in your blood glucose as biotin increases in your tissue and your plasma. Okay, we can see this drop in blood glucose whether you're metabolically healthy or metabolically unhealthy, like those folks who are diabetic. We do know that biotin, that blood glucose lowering effect is more pronounced in diabetics. Another area where we can see the benefits of biotin is in your immune system. Now, if you're deficient in biotin, it's not good for your immune system, but this is another area where supplementing can be problematic. What we know is that supplementation with biotin can have downsides on the immune system, okay, as well as interfering or reducing certain components of your immune system, like your interleukins, your interferons, even your lymphocytes can go down if you supplement too much. So biotin is really one of those ones where we have a yin and a yang. You want enough, you don't want to be deficient. Deficiency, like I said, is rare. But if you supplement and get too much, we have those downsides. So definitely want to get enough biotin from our diet, but not too much via supplementation. Now, there's a lot of press right now with using biotin or supplementing biotin if you have MS or multiple sclerosis. Is there any evidence for that? It turns out there is. Again, I'll include links to the studies in the description. But a couple of things we look at when we're measuring MS severity, a 25-foot walk is one of those. We do have some studies that show high-dose supplementation of biotin was able to benefit that condition. That was at 300 milligrams a day. However, we've also had the exact same dosing and different studies that showed, hey, giving this did not benefit that 25-foot walk time. We have studies showing that if you do high-dose biotin supplementation, the vision improved, which is another big side effect of MS. This other studies show no, that did not help. One of the things that I noticed is it does appear to depend on the type of MS that people have. We tend to see more positive results in progressive MS versus remitting MS. But the bottom line, does biotin supplementation help with MS? It's a possibility. It's far from proven. There is some research showing potential benefit. There's research showing it's not beneficial. Again, I think it's probably going to come back to experimentation and the type of MS that you have. All right, now let's talk about, I promised at the beginning of the video, a food never to eat. I already mentioned biotin deficiency is rare, and there's foods that are loaded with biotin that will give you plenty. One of those is eggs. But the problem people have is that consuming egg whites is very popular, particularly in the bodybuilding community. But the problem with egg whites is they contain a protein called avidin. Avidin will bind biotin. Now, avidin is especially concentrated in raw egg whites. And so I'll get the argument that, hey, I cook my egg whites, that denatures all that avidin, it's not a problem, and that is not true. Avidin does get denatured when you cook it, but not all of it. Okay, you're still going to have some of that avidin that can bind biotin even when those egg whites are cooked. It's going to be less, maybe 30 to 40% of that binding, but it can still become an issue. So just eat the whole egg, not just the egg whites. The egg yolk is probably the most nutritious part of the egg. You know, I got 3 eggs the other morning. I just measured this. An egg is going to contain anywhere from 13 to 25 micrograms per egg. For an adult male, the RDA is 30 micrograms. So I got 39 micrograms of biotin, before the sun came up that day. So it's very easy to hit your biotin marks if you're eating egg whites. Also, if you're eating liver, which a lot of people don't do, I get it. You should be. It's Mother Nature's multivitamin. But 41 grams the other morning got me 17 micrograms of biotin. So it's very easy to hit your biotin mark. If you're a vegan who does not consume animal products, it's going to be tougher. Plants do contain some, but you're going to have to work hard to get it. And don't get me started on the vegan vegetarian thing right now. But so is supplementation necessary? No. In fact, I think it can be more detrimental rather than beneficial. So I'd stay away from it. You should be able to get it from your foods. You want to keep an eye out. Deficiency is rare, but if you're doing some of these things that I mentioned in the video, you're at higher risk for it. So let me know in the comments other topics, other subjects you would like me to cover that would be helpful for you. Speaking of helpful, hope the video was, guys. See you in the next one.